5. Ancient civilizations. No contact with each other, no shared internet, no shared trade routes in most cases, sometimes not even overlapping centuries. And yet, willow bark for pain, garlic for infection, ginger family roots for digestion, independently, over and over. That's not magic. It's something more interesting. The largest, longest-running experiment humans ever ran without knowing they were running it. Let's see what it actually found and what it got wrong. The earliest written evidence we have comes from Sumerian Mesopotamia, clay tablets over 5,000 years old, listing hundreds of medicinal plants and how to prepare them. In Egypt, around 1550 BCE, the Ebers papyrus cataloged more than 850 remedies, garlic, coriander, frankincense, aloe among them. Many of those plants are still studied today. In India, the Rig Veda and Atharva Veda, dating back roughly 1500 to 1200 BCE, contain hymns and medical knowledge that became the foundation of Ayurveda, a tradition still practiced by hundreds of millions of people today. 3 civilizations, 3 independent starting points. Already, a pattern is forming. Fast forward to the 1st century CE, and 2 texts show up almost simultaneously on opposite sides of the world. In China, the Shennong Ben Cao Jing, the divine farmer's classic of materia medica, cataloged 365 medicinal plants. Materia medica, by the way, just means medical material, the body of knowledge about which substances treat what. You'll hear that term constantly for the rest of this course, and it's literally the name of Module 6. At almost the same time, the Greek physician Dioscorides wrote De Materia Medica, 5 volumes, roughly 600 plants. Here's the fun fact. This book stayed the primary Western reference on herbal medicine for over 1,500 years. It was still being consulted well into the Renaissance. Here's where a lot of herbalism content stops, with the impressive numbers and the ancient wisdom. We're not going to stop there, because it wouldn't be honest. These same traditions also prescribed things that didn't work, and some that actively harmed people. Comfrey was drunk as tea for generations before anyone connected it to the pyrrolizidine alkaloids that can cause serious liver damage, specifically a condition called veno-occlusive disease. Mercury-based remedies persisted for centuries in multiple traditions, despite causing real harm. Long use is not the same as being right. This is exactly the distinction Lesson 1 introduced. Tradition tells you something was used long enough that acutely obvious harm was probably noticed. It does not mean every remedy in these texts was actually effective, or even safe. Some were, some weren't. That's precisely why Module 5 of this course exists, to give you tools to tell which is which. For most of history, herbalist, physician, and apothecary weren't separate jobs. They were the same person, working from the same materia medica. That started to split during the Renaissance and accelerated through the 1800s, as chemists began isolating the specific active compounds inside plants. You already know this story from Lesson 1. Salicin, isolated from willow bark in 1828, eventually became aspirin. That single pattern, isolate the compound, test it, refine it, repeated hundreds of times, and it's a huge part of how modern pharmacology was born directly out of herbalism, not opposed to it. Herbalism didn't disappear when pharmacology emerged. It kept going, sometimes sidelined, sometimes dismissed, and in the last few decades, increasingly re-examined with the exact scientific tools that once seemed to replace it. So, 5 independent civilizations converging on overlapping answers through the same slow process of trial, error, and observation, and also getting plenty wrong along the way. That's the honest history. Next lesson, we take the thread we just started pulling, where herbalism and modern medicine split, and look at exactly where each one is strongest today. Grab this lesson's workbook page below. It's a quick exercise in tracing one of your own kitchen herbs back to its likely tradition of origin. See you in Lesson 3.